Are we on it now?
Yeah.
Oh, we're live. Great. People in the world. Circle of mine. Okay, got trailers. Hang on, I'm going to put you like, hold on. Let's be quiet. I'm grinding gravel.
Yeah. I'm gonna call you Super Trucker. They ain't gonna know what to think. They got the kid and trucking stuff on here together.
I know it. We're taking over the internet, people. You might as well just hand us the keys. It's gonna be ours. And look, as long as there's coffee, nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, and this is to promote Truckinstuff Island also.
No, we're still gonna have an island. They'll give it to us if
we get enough views. You can hit the like and subscribe on this channel right here of mine and Truckinstuff too. We get enough likes and views. We will give everybody the free vacation they've dreamed of on a private deserted island. It might be in the ocean, it might be in a swamp, it might be in a lake, but we're going to have an island.
Yeah, that's right. It may actually be something that we build, kind of like how they did in the United Arab Emirates or in China in the South China Sea. We're going to shape it. I don't know. They already got the shape of a palm tree. We'll make it in the shape of like an 18-wheeler with a trailer.
That is it. And everybody flies over. What is that place? That is Truckinstuff Island.
They're gonna know it. They're gonna see that again. Don't even if you're out of fuel, don't land there. Them people are crazy.
It'd be like that island that you see on the internet that humans are not allowed on, that the cannibal people live on, still to this day, and they throw like rocks at the airplanes that go over. They're gonna be like, dude, not even look at them. We'll be down there giving us death call. Yeah.
Yeah, there's still indigenous tribes that they say that they've landed there and stuff, and people have tried to kill them, and some people have died on boats going someplace. And then there's other ones that they've come up on. They made one that is a no-go zone, and nobody's allowed to go there to bother them. But there's another one that people have actually went there. The guy asked him when he landed in the helicopter, he talked to him. He says, "How come?" The guy in the tribe was smart. Once he learned the language and communicated, he says, "How come my people are here and we're doing this, and we never had a helicopter, and your people have gone into technology and gotten a helicopter?" The guy's smart enough to see the difference in the way that they live and stuff. No, it'll be different. Even if we have our own island, it'll just be fishing and sitting back. We're going to need, I don't know if Clydesdales can swim, but Budweiser's going to have to work out something.
Oh, they can swim. I just don't think they can pull that wagon across the ocean.
You just need to look, kegs will float if you put enough air in them. And we'll think of a pontoon. It'll be a pontoon pulled by horses.
No, just get the pontoons and make the pontoons 2 big kegs.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
If you want to know what the pier on the island's going to look like, it'll be all the used kegs filled with air. And that will be when you get off the boat and you step onto the dock and it floats, they'll be floating on empty kegs. And then we'll send them back, and then they'll bring more in. I took a load of rabbits to the Budweiser plant once. Did I tell you that?
Rabbits?
A load of rabbits, yeah.
I've never known. You've never told me that.
They squeeze the hops out of them. Where do you think hops come from, man? They don't just grow. Yeah.
No offense, Swift drivers, but we're going to use y'all's wrecked trailers because there's quite an abundance of them, and that's going to be our huts. We're going to live in them. And for me and Mr Truckinstuff, we're going to have like 2-story Swift homes. And we would say we'd use the tractors for something, but no offense, guys, especially the ones that's still with us. The ones that's really wrecked them, boy, they really wrecked them. There ain't really nothing to salvage.
You do realize that you know the reason that well, see, I don't want to throw them under the bus. We'll go with JB Hunt for a while. We'll give them a hard time. You ready for this one?
Oh, Yellowback?
Yeah. Well, you know why JB Hunt drivers stick together, don't you?
I have no idea.
They don't take showers. I'm telling you, they don't even need a union. Oh, is my audio still good?
Yeah, I hear you good. I hope it's still good on the video. I got the phone placed right next to the tablet. You know, my daddy told me JB Hunt years ago when they had the cab over stuff, the back of their doors on their trailer used to be yellow.
Yeah.
And they used to call them yellow streaking and all that right there. And my daddy asked me, he said, I forgot the name of that company. He said they had a yellow mark on their door. He said, but everybody hated them. I said, Swift? He said, no, Swift was actually a pretty good company. They was fast back in. He said, nobody likes them now. I said, well, no. I said, it ain't the individuals. We just don't like the company. I said, they do their drivers wrong. And I said, one of the cheapest paying companies. And he said, they had something yellow. I said, JB Hunt? He goes, that's it. He goes, we used to mess with the drivers. And he said, the only part of the trailer that was yellow was on the doors. And he said, he would ask the drivers, do they know why there was a yellow mark on the back of the doors? The driver said, no, I never thought about it. He said, that way y'all know which end to hook up to.
That's bad. You know why? Have you noticed that, like, Schneider's, they're all like orange? Their trucks are orange. You know where they come from, don't you, Schneider drivers? You know them construction barrels that you see in the construction zones?
The ones they mangle up?
Yeah, well, them barrels in the construction zones, those are Schneider eggs. When all those hatch, we're all in trouble. We're going to be outnumbered. I'm telling you, freight's going to go. It's going to go to the ground level. It ain't going to pay nothing because it's going to be all them Schneider drivers. Yep, Schneider eggs. You didn't know that? When they're brown, they make JB Hunts out of them. Look, they sort them and they send them back. They have to sit out there in the sun for so long, and then they get hot.
And then they start hatching off CRST Malone. And
if you ever see a construction worker out there sitting on one, it's about to hatch.
He's trying to hold it steady. It's going to get wild.
That's right. Oh, man.
Now, since we're out here, what we discussed earlier, we thought would be a pretty good topic. Guys and gals, you got the kid and trucking stuff, in case you didn't notice, with our cutting up. Try to have a good time. You know, it's late at night, and I know...
You're causing trouble on his channel.
Yeah, we're going to cause trouble on mine. Go ahead and get me banded off. Of the...
That's okay. You're not banned from the island. You've always got a place to go.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
as long as the island's still up and welcomes me with open arms, the heck with YouTube. But we'll discuss things on serious note. You know, the last video was about headlights and flashing and trying to get people to come over with your brights, and then the fog light, whatever you want to call them, light bars, LED light bar. Another thing me and him was talking about is pulling in truck stops with your headlights on. Them places are pretty lit up, and out of respect, this goes both ways for the one pulling in. Also, you might be the one resting or just wanting to kind of calm your eyes down from all the brightness from running at night, you know. Turn your lights off when you come through there. You can run your chicken lights, and like Mr Truckinstuff was telling me, run your flashers in there. When you're backing into a parking spot, also is probably, especially your drivers have been out here a while, and the guys and gals that ain't been out here a while, here's a piece of advice. If I'm pulling in somewhere and I see a set of flashers come on, usually that's indicating to me somebody's broke down. But first I'm going to think they found a parking spot and they're backing in. Don't just back in or, hey, I got a spot and just try to back in, because in reality, I might be coming around a corner and thinking you're pulling out. Just throw your flashers on when you back up. That keeps everybody a little safe. Keeps, you know, everybody a little more alert of what's going on. And plus, nope, you ain't got to worry about nobody kind of coming in and stealing your spot or rushing to get around you, or shouldn't have to. I'm not going to say you won't in the day's time in trucking, but definitely, most definitely, have courtesy, even if you're getting fuel or whatever it may be. Just pull in. As soon as you know that you're off the highway pulling into the entrance, kill your headlights. Run your marker lights. The place is lit up. You can run all over that parking lot with just markers. Drive a safe speed. Me and Truckstuff was talking about this earlier too. He's got a couple of videos of people wrecking, tearing the hoods off the trucks and this, that, and other, all because people's in a hurry and think you got to run at a truck stop like it's Daytona or Talladega. Drive slow. In case you ain't noticed, I know you individuals might not own a truck, might not desire to own a truck, want to be a company truck, but treat it like it's yours. Truck parking spots, rest areas, resteras, or whatever Truckinstuff calls them.
Resterias.
Resterias, there you go.
Restoria.
They don't have the best paved roads, as you per se, or park lots there is. There's a lot of potholes in them. Even though you might not be buying the truck, or you might be. You might just be a company driver. You might be a 100% owner-operator. I know what it's like to get in a hurry. I've hauled livestock. I've pulled everything but a parking lot and a tanker. And a lot of people know that. And I get in hurries too. I mean, we've all been guilty of it. But, you know, it's much better to take your time and ease over a pothole to get where you're going. You know, take that little bit of time versus knocking your whole front end out and then you stuck there with a $5,000-$6,000 bill, or a company. Even if you ain't got to pay it, guess what? You still ain't moving for a while, which means that load you're not getting paid for, the miles you ain't getting paid for. But also just courteous for stirring up dust, taking hoods off of trucks. Take your time. You'll realize when you take your time pulling through there that you can make them turns. Even that young man that running that truck that you posted a video of, if he'd have took his time, that would have never happened. And he probably could have turned about the same distance. But when you're running a little faster and you're yanking it a little harder, you know, he had plenty of room to go. If he'd have took his time, looked, you know, these big companies has got that stuff on their windows. Get out and look. It says goal on their mirrors and stuff. That's what that means. Get out and look. I personally don't have it on mine, but you know, you ain't necessarily got to get out. Look, check your mirrors. This was stuff you learned when you did your written exam to get your commercial license. Take your time. Take pride in everything you do. I can't preach that enough. Take pride in everything you do. Whether, I don't care what you drive. You can drive a Pinto, but thank God you got something to drive, but take pride in it. Set goals up. You know, everybody starts somewhere. I don't care what your age is. You might have been a teacher for 30 years and retired and decide to, you know, do some traveling. Instead of spending $500,000 on a motorhome, you said, hey, wife, let's go get CDLs and drive a truck. That's very smart. You're making money and still seeing the world. But take pride in everything you do. And inside and outside the truck. Me and Mr. Truckinstuff was talking a while ago how we've never really failed a DOT inspection. I've had DOT get in my truck and sit there and see that I make up my bed every morning. And the way I lay in my bed, I can just throw it back over and it's made up. But small things like that, you can't always keep the outside clean. But ladies and gentlemen, the inside is where you spend 95 to 98% of your time while you're on the road. There's no reason. Buy you a garbage can and put some Walmart bags in it. When you pull up to a truck stop, throw it in the garbage can. Get you a little broom.
Get you a rat trap. First, get you a rat trap. Make sure there ain't nothing living in there. And if there's any raccoons, let them out. They'll tear you to pieces. Then start cleaning.
Most definitely. But the biggest reason on keeping stuff clean, drivers, I can literally smell you soaking other people. I can walk into a men's bathroom after somebody. There's a difference in smelling feces than straight up Famunda cheese.
Man.
There's no need in that, people. We're human beings. We're not yard dogs. We ain't cows. We ain't horses. You get 50 gallons to 75 gallons of fuel. I don't care what you feel like. If it's got a shower, it's free. You've got free loyalty points. Take them showers.
Sometimes I think in the summertime that there ought to be a button that you can hit at the truck stop, and they'll bring the fire department in and say, "Where's he at? We're gonna hose him down." For real. There's a few, and now we give each other showers. If you have anybody,
you might want to refrain. Hey, fix what you said. We don't give nobody showers. We'll give them shower credits.
I'm talking about off of our card, we will give you
shower credits.
But the fire department might come and give you a shower. Like I said, we're gonna set that up. That's gonna be. We're gonna Truckinstuff Island ain't gonna take that mess. So if you're there, we're gonna have a fire hose, and there's a lot of pressure cut. You're better off just to, go out to the ocean. But hey, get you a load to Florida and jump out there in the water. And just saying, some of these guys for real. I don't know if they're scared of water. Maybe they can't swim. You're gonna be okay in them showers. You're gonna be okay in the bathtub. Go on and take one for everybody else. Not, even if you don't do it for yourself, do it for us.
You got me in Truckinstuff, Icon. It's good to see you, buddy. We're in here just ranting and raving a little bit.
The other day, I'm not lying to you. I went into a place and that guardhouse stunk so bad. And when they told me it was the guy that was just in there that had walked past me and left, and he left odor behind him, I said, "Oh my God, that's so bad." before I left out, and me and another driver, I said, hang on a second, I got to do something. He says, all right. I got in the back of my truck, and I do a backpack for the homeless thing. I had a couple bars of soap, a bunch of them up there. I took one out, handed it to the guard. I said, you tell that driver, you give it to him, and you tell them that's from me. And they laughed so hard, but they gave it to him. You got to tell them something. And it's not being rude. Just give them a bar of soap. Buy a bar of soap, people. Get a bar of soap. If you're taking a shower at the TA, they give you free ones. Have it in your pocket. Next time you see somebody needs one, just in a nice way to let them know, say, this is for you, man. And if you use it, that's great. You know what I'm saying? If you can't tell them, if you can't bring yourself to tell them, just hand them a bar of soap. They'll get the point. It might take them, they might think for a second, say, what's this for? Well, what it's for is you go in there and you wet it and you use it, and then everything is better in the world. Make the whole world right. Just do that for us. So, yeah, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, Icon popped in on us. He's on here right now.
What's up, Icon? You probably wind up a horsefly in there. I'll let you borrow my fly swat.
Well, the same thing we was talking about the headlights. I think it kind of goes together. Ones that run their headlights in the he said, hey, by the way, the ones that run their headlights at a truck stop is probably the same ones that don't bathe. I know it's bad. I know people smoke. I used to smoke, and I had people when I told them I quit smoking, they was like, you smoked? Okay, I can understand a little bit of a smell, but when you've been in a truck not bathing and you smell like an ashtray, it's been somebody poured a beer or something, you know, just that god awful smell, you know, brush your teeth, do something, you know. There's no reason. I've walked by a truck, I've walked by several like this, but parked beside them, you know, like I am now at the rest area doing this live with you, and they have their window cracked, their door open, and it literally about knocked me down. And I'm going down the right side of my truck, just, you know, checking lights, doing, not really pre-tripping per se, but like checking, you know, just looking at my stuff. And it literally knocked me down. No dogs, no cats in it. I'm talking about just be filthy. Drink cups everywhere. Now, guys, I'm not telling you don't have drink cups in your truck. If you're anything like me or ever hauled livestock, them cups are your friend. Now, ladies, I don't really know how you would use them, but gentlemen, they are your best friend in multiple ways. Make great spit cups, make great urinals, and keep a lid with them and a few paper towels. Paper towels prevent splashing. Just telling you, heads up. Put a paper towel in it, you hit a bump, you ain't getting wet. But they are your best friend in hauling livestock when you got to get out there and tote the mail. Even if you just pull regular freight, I'm pulling hopper bottom right now, still, you can't get out in a traffic jam. Boom, got a cup. Ladies, y'all know what y'all got to do with them and how to use them. I don't. But obviously, throw a couple paper towels in there. It absorbs it up. Makes more room if you overflow it. But that's okay to keep them cups. But don't pile your truck up with cans and marks all in your floorboard where stuff spilled and this, that, and other. Take pride in your ride. I don't care if the hoods fell off because Prime done took it off. Still, you got to live in this truck. Take pride in it. Keep it clean. If I had some people come to my house the way some of these trucks look, I would just be ashamed. You know, this is your home. 95% of the time you're gone, this is it. This is the main, I guess what MTV had was cribs. This is your tour. This is cribs. Treat it, you know, you might not can keep the outside clean, but you can make your bed up. I got said, I keep 20 piss bottles with me all lined up. I hear that. Hey, the bottles, I've got a few in here, but it's aggravating because I got to cut the lid out.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
Icon, listen. The old thing that was on the bottles that used to say no deposit, no return, it doesn't mean you're supposed to deposit into them and return them.
Hi, that wasn't me, Icon. You know who that was? That's old Truckinstuff over there.
You know, yeah, I was talking to Kid. Kid keeps pantyhose in his truck.
Now you are not putting that on me. You're the one that's fixing alternator belts or something with your wife's underbritches. That was not me. And you said, well, it was a Saturday night. Like I told you, I don't care what you do at home on Saturday nights with underbritches and panty liners, whatever. That's not me. I'm not going to judge you for it. But the icon you can comment on his brother and kind of get trucking stuff, because he straight told me that he was fixing alternator belts with his wife's undergarments on a Saturday night.
Here's what we got. Let me tell you something. No, people, here's the thing. A long time ago, an old man told me this, and I'm telling you, I asked him 3 times. I said, "Are you sure?" He says, "Yeah, listen." He says, "You get a pair of pantyhose and you throw them in your trunk. If you ever throw a V-belt," this worked on V-belts. I don't know if it works so well on serpentines, but you stretch them out and you twist them, not like braiding them. You just twist them so that they're like rope. And then you wrap them around how the belt goes. You tie it in a knot, and real tight, and then you cut off what's extra, and then you can adjust it. If it's alternator, you adjust it up so it's tighter, but you get it pretty tight in the first place. That'll get you in a pinch, hey, a couple 100 miles as a V-belt. So I don't know if it works that well on serpentines because of that slick part. I don't know how it rolls around and wouldn't slip off, but they made good emergency V-belts, no lie. So especially if it's something like a V-belt for like a power steering, because some of these serpentine systems still have a V, not on the newer trucks, but you know, it's an emergency belt. And a kid keeps one all the time.
Somehow I knew this is when I spoke to you earlier today on the phone. I was on the phone like 2 hours, and I accomplished not a cotton picking thing, but panty liners. I knew either you was going to do it live, or when I went live, I knew somehow it was going to get twisted on me, because I knew there was no decent human being that's a man going to hold up to that. And
I hold up to it. Listen, it's just an old trick. You keep a pair, but you can keep. I mean, he told me you can make one out of duct tape.
No, I did say that, because I'm a man. I did say duct tape. I didn't say my wife's underbritches.
Well, it don't matter. Hey, look, if you got paracord, okay? If you got paracord, you can take out the inside strands of paracord, use that for all kinds of stuff. I'll tell you, my ceiling mount for my camera stand, I'm using carabiners and paracord, okay, on hooks that I took the stock screws out and I put these eyelets on, put them back in there. So it's eyelets and carabiners hooked to them. And I tied the paracord to that and tied the paracord to my camera stand, okay? And so I hook them in there, then I extend the legs and it tightens it up. And I come to you live from the ceiling. I did a video on that, but my tripod is upside down on the ceiling. And I can adjust it how I want. One leg will go way up, then the other 2 legs are shorter. It's a tripod. It don't care as long as it's level. And so then I can swivel the thing around and point it where I want. The other videos I do, I'm doing just from my glass, but I'm going to have to be doing some from the ceiling because I'm going to be doing, lives where I'm showing music playing and that kind of stuff. So yeah, hey, if it can be used in a certain way, I'm going to use it. This guy told me I was the MacGyver of trucking in one of my lives. I love that. But the thing is, you use what works and you throw away the rest, you know? So if you got to have pantyhose in there for extra belt, and it don't take up no room in a toolbox to have that. But you can probably use it for all kinds of stuff. But I use paracord for the most part, but you can't use paracord for a belt, you know? So for some reason, don't ask me why, but the material in pantyhose originally was used for something else anyhow. I don't know what they made that stuff for. But
Icon, I was going to ask you a question since you're watching. Is the audio pretty good like this right here? I mean, can you understand everything? Am I too loud or is he too loud? I don't have anything Bluetooth. I'm doing it from a tablet and my phone on speaker. I was just wondering if the audio was pretty good. It is. I appreciate that, buddy. Feel free to comment on anything we're talking about, and we'll I don't know where we're going to go with this. We started off with headlights.
Because it works. It works. I think that's great.
I'm sitting here at a Restivo, whatever you call it, looking at a cow pasture and sitting here wondering if there's really pantyhose in my truck.
Yeah. Great.
Hey, that puts a whole new meaning that I ain't got no panties on. We're going to instead of saying that, say I ain't got no pantyhose.
Ain't got no pantyhose on. Yeah. Oh, man. You got to whisper it. That's how they do it on CB radio.
Yeah. I ain't got on no panties.
That's just for shock value. I'm sure they wear panties. It's just for shock.
Yeah. They trying to sound tough for their lover.
Yeah, they're trying to act like they don't. Hang on, let me start this beast up real quick. Big Blue. One more time.
Big Blue's over here with me. I don't know. This is Blue.
Yeah. Well, that's what I call this one. The other one's Big Red. Don't know what to call the white one. Well, it's red, white, and blue, and I'm going to get a purple one. So, in the end, I'm going to have some kind of a rainbow. I don't know why. That one's a good one. Man, I wanted to find the axle. About to see if they'll do it for me. Well.
You just messed up the volume.
So I'm in a good part of Mississippi.
You just messed up our sound there, trucking stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna fix it. When I just beast up and connected, it does this gotcha now kind of thing. Once you're in here, and it takes over the phone. It's better now, though. I got you back on just this one. My Bluetooth on my radio fights with my Bluetooth on my little piece there. So.
I was going to ask Icon, is that what you drive, the new W9 Icon? Is it? I'm thinking about getting I was going to buy an Icon, or was buying a lease purchase Icon, and I see where it says Icon 2020. I didn't know if that was, you meant the truck, if that's what you drove, or if that's your handle. But if
I
you,
got a question too for Icon. Icon, for real, we need you to start on your channel. You need to do a live, and then I'm going to go and slide axle real quick, and I'll be right back. Hold tight.
but if that's what you drive, Icon, I was gonna say how you liked it. I was buying I think it was a 2016 mid roof, had the Signature Series 600 in it. You want to buy me a W900? No, I was talking about I thought about getting another one, and I was gonna see if how you liked your new one. The one I had the Signature Series 600 I-6 in it. It had the mid roof, but it didn't have the windows in the top of it. I'm a Pete man. I love W9s, and it had all the lights and stuff on it, but they was behind the panels, the cow panels, and the breather lights was behind the. You couldn't see nothing until it was lit up. It was very clean, but I wound up. The company I was buying it from was TNT Holland. I was the first lease operator that they had, a lease purchase or whatever. And when I went, the E-Log was coming in where they was going to run it, so I got out. And didn't lose no money on the truck by no means, but I thought about, I'm going to get this one right here completely redone. They really ain't nothing wrong with this truck. It's an awesome truck. But my son got saved in the sleeper, and I want to repaint it and redo the floor. It was meant to be a show truck, and I've worked it like a borrowed mule. And I like the new Icon, or the last Icon I had. I don't know much about the new ones. I ain't really followed them. You happy with it and its performance and stuff like that? Did you get your axle slid there, sir?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm going to be yelling at a guard man and waving, and then I'm going to grab a door and I'll go. Trying to make $1.
Icon asked me if I was going to buy him a W9.
Did Icon say that he's going to go live at some point? Because he needs to.
I don't know if he said yes, but I don't know if that was far as your question or my question as if he drove an Icon.
Right.
So I don't know, and which way that is. Far as that question that he answered.
Now I met 3 people that run those Icons for a certain company. I wonder if that is one of them. And I wonder if Icon is one of those people that I did that video that night. We was up at a truck stop, and I said, man, I'm sitting here, I'm the best looking truck on the lot. Then these guys pull up, and I showed their truck, and all three of them was Icons.
Yeah, my Icons are nice. I mean, there's a lot. The one, I don't know about the new ones, but the one I drove, the interior was a little different. The outside was pretty much like any other W9, except the lights and all that, like the chicken lights and all that stuff was all hidden. You couldn't see it in the daytime. Well, I mean, if you could have, I turned them on, but like the breather lights, chicken lights, everything was made into like the back part of the breather brackets where the lights go, and on the cowls on the side. We ordered them that way. Even the cargo lights that was in the back, you didn't even know there was lights back there the way they had them integrated. And I mean, it was smooth. I would add like it was red. It was a solid red truck, but you turn them on and it lit up. Everything it was super clean. The DEF tank wasn't plastic. It was part of the fuel tank. It was made into the fuel tank. So it didn't have that. Hey, it looked like a solid fuel tank there. I absolutely loved the truck, but the E-Log thing scared me, and that's when I got out of it. And I'm still am good friends. They're like family with me with the company down there. But again, drivers and guys and gals, y'all need a good flatbed job or step deck or oversized. They got the big boys toys too. TNT Holland in Birmingham. Awesome place. Address is 198 Pawnee Village Road in Pinson, Alabama. It's TNT Holland. You can just Google it. I don't remember their phone number right offhand. I know it's like 205-841. I think it's 1930. But if that ain't it, Google it. Awesome people to work for. But I absolutely love the truck, but I got out of it because of the E-Log. Me and him tried to figure out ways, because he was doing a toss-up. You know, that time if you had so many trucks, we thought that was the law, and come to find out it was everybody that didn't have 99 or older. And so I got out of the truck, no hard feelings, didn't lose no money.
Can you read it? All right, I got it.
But that's why I was wanting to discuss with Icon if he liked his. I said it said Icon 2020. I didn't know if that was a 2020 Icon. I know W9 or the new Kenworth did a little swap on like a 980 or something like that. And I think that's a neat looking truck, but it's a little bit of a cross of a, and this ain't nothing against, I ain't bashing on or nothing like that, nothing against Kenworth people, but it's kind of a cross to me like a Coronado and like the older T600 look. It's a neat looking truck. I don't know about it. I'm a type of person like with the new Cat engine comes out, I won't have nothing with the new Cat in it until I know 3 or 4 people that's drove them and how they operate. You know, they come out with new trucks and they add these features and stuff like that. Then what comes next is a bunch of recalls. Recalls don't pay my bills, so that's why I was checking with you, Icon. I appreciate the heads up on that, or getting back with me that you liked it, and that's what I think I'm gonna shoot for next. And is maybe not a new Icon, but another W9, whether it's Icon or not. And he also said he don't do live, so you're not gonna get Mr. Icon doing no live there, sir. Is what he said.
Ask him, is he the Icon, one of the guys that I met that night? Or I guess I just asked him.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think you can ask him.
I think it's just it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting used to being on your channel instead of on my channel and seeing what's going on. I'm sitting here talking and working, man.
I'm proud to hear that. Good things come from those who work. We need to get, did you sell your Freightliner or do you still have it?
I still got it.
We need to get that workhorse back to going and where you can make you some real money.
I used to make real money. Now I just do this because it's cheaper than daycare at the old folks home. They said, you know how much they want? Just a check.
They probably want a bunch.
Like I told you, we're going to have them. You know when I start all them cats over, say, sell one for $5,000 and give me the other one.
You're back on Bluetooth.
Wait a second. Oh, my audio went, yeah. So when it took over, I told you I got back in the truck. When when we can buy some used JB Hunt trucks or something, we're gonna set up an old folks home for truck drivers on the back lot. Have them all CB radios, and they talk to each other. Give them fuel sometimes. Yeah, set them up because we can make a living. Look, if Social Security pay for it, like they're paying for the old folks homes and whatever it is that pays for it, it'd probably be cheaper to house them in trucks, and they're already comfortable in there. You know, shower card. Look, we can retire in style. You know.
Instead of like a VA clinic, have like a TA clinic, Truckers Anonymous.
Yeah, you know what they could do? You know how they have them doors that flip down on the back of, I call them toy boxes. If you're hauling toys, if you have, basically everybody calls it that. If you have a camper or a travel trailer or
a toy hauler.
The trailer you have behind you, it's the toy box behind you. Well, we can make a flip down ramp kind of a thing on the side of the truck on the driver's side, and the bed will roll out onto it on rollers. They can fix them up what they need and then roll them back in there and shut the door again. Yeah.
Have the Trucker Affairs Committee. We can put them on the island.
Yeah, put them on the island. Get them. I was going to say when I retire, but we can do this for them. Not retire when you go to the old folks home, but look, get them wheelchairs with wire whips they'll be going down the hallway. I need a radio check. What's going on at the end of the hallway? Is the guard looking? You know, just saying, is the scale house open?
Be like, Breaker 19, can I get a radio check? What's your 20? I'm on Magnolia. Well, I'm down here at Sunflower. You know how they do nursing home hallways, name them after stuff like that?
Right.
I'm at the intersection of Sunflower and Daisy.
There you go.
Put them on the island, though. We might be on something here. We might make a little money off of Social Security. And
I'm hammered down and I'm headed that way with Jello plate. I got a whole plate of Jello. Anybody wants some?
Ain't that gonna swap this lime flavored Jello for some grape?
There you go. Oh man. There'll be wheel polishers on the corner. The old men that used to polish wheels be down there polishing up the wheels on the wheelchairs. Yeah, we'll have it set up. It'd be a nursing home for truckers. That would be different.
And also, like I was saying, collect that Social Security that they get, and we'll grow their food for them and everything, take good care of them. Hey, that's money, you know. What do you think about that, Icon? You know, you got to have a place on the island. Icon could be our freight hauler.
Right?
From one side to the other.
That's right.
A full tank of fuel lasts you about a year.
Well, if you're running a bunk heater, and if you, I don't know how long it lasts.
We don't need no heater. It's gonna be like Hawaii, 75 degrees year round.
Oh, right. I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about just as a truck stop. You done moved them to the island. I got you. We're gonna need a container ship.
Yeah, that we don't need no bunk heaters or nothing like that. We don't even need air conditioning. There'd be no air conditioning, no heaters on the island. Like I said, it's gonna be very friendly, very courteous island. First person that gets a little lippy gets a warning. Kind of like at a job, get a verbal, I guess. And the next time, you got to go. We don't need a wall. We got an ocean.
Right.
Mr. Icon said that'd be fine with him. He's down. He said he's down like 4 flats on a Cadillac.
I hear you.
So where are you headed to now there, trucking stuff?
Well, I'm going to be going very far north I'm going to bring greetings from the snowlands very soon.
Well, I just left it up there for you, and it was started to snow and get a little windy on me up there, so I figured, you know, I know you told me you was coming up there earlier today, and I figured I'd leave it with you. That way you could enjoy it.
Yeah, I was hoping that you'd clean that mess up before I got up there.
Well, I didn't really stick around long, But if you go up 90, was it 94 right there?
Yeah.
You go 94 a little ways to 80, you'll see a little bit of a feed trail. That's for me. That's where I left my hoppers open for the remnants that was in there. And let Mother Nature clean out my trailer because they want like $50 to $100 to wash these things out for some crazy reason. So that's
I heard of a driver doing one time kind of what she's talking about. This is true. People, you're not going to believe it, and that's okay. I can respect your ability to not believe this, but this is true. Okay? So just before Thanksgiving, there was a driver who had a reefer unit full of turkeys, frozen turkeys, floor loaded, and they were wrapped in plastic, whatever. And the thing was, he got to the place to deliver these turkeys, and they were going to refuse unloading him. He says, no, you're going to unload me, and I'm getting out of here. Because, he was planning on getting out of there. Thanksgiving coming up. And he needed enough time to get home. And I'm not lying to you people. This is real, and this has happened. And this did happen in this instance. This driver was not going to take no for an answer. A lot of times, you got to stand your ground. But this guy went there. This guy, he said, okay, he says, you can either take these on your dock, or you fixing to get them all over your parking lot. And I'm going to tell you what he did. He opened his doors up. He started up at the guard shack. Nobody was behind him. And he backed clear up, got as much speed up as he could, till he got right back to where he started at the dock, and he hit his brakes and pulled the bar. And I'm telling you, he said every single turkey came out of that trailer. He had a high fifth wheel. Didn't matter. They were frozen. They were slicker than grease, and they came out. And he dumped their turkeys right there on that lot and left. They pushed it to the point, and they try to push you around, and they'll say, oh, well, it's going to be this many hours to be unloaded stuff. And there's been drivers that have done that. I don't know what kind of trouble it caused him, but that's a true story. That's one way to unload a turkey. It's not like it's not much different than whenever they put them on a lift for unloading potatoes. I had them put my 18-wheeler up in the air on a ramp, and there's been people who've blown up your motor, so don't leave it running, because all the oil will go to the back of your oil pan, and won't nothing getting them to the oil pump. And they'll blow up your motor if you leave it idling. But there's been people who've left the key in it and left it idling, and they lift it up way up high, and all the potatoes come out the tail end of that trailer. That's how you unload potatoes. That's where that guy was coming from, and that's where he got that idea. He told me about, he didn't want to talk much, he had to go, but he told me that story, so I didn't get out of him what kind of trouble he got in, but he's still a truck driver, so they're still out there. And if they don't tell you something, yeah, drivers will get unloaded when we got to get unloaded, even if every turkey's got to hit the lot. So, if anything you want to say about that, you can have at it, but I'm telling you, that's a true story.
That's a good point right there, because that's what we was talking about the other day. I think we did it on the shutdown when we was going over the shutdown. Remember, guys, that is April the 12th on a Friday. But going to that,
Shut it down.
do what?
Turkeys on the road would shut it down.
Oh yeah, but you saying that on a serious note, as serious we can be on this. It's kind of hard to follow up with something serious because I can picture it.
Go ahead. We'll let you have it.
But guys and gals that is driving, you have the right. I don't care if you're a company driver or owner operator. There's no difference in need mine on this. They are not allowed to let you stay there and burn your clock up. They can either take the freight, and I have personally done this. I've never had produce or turkeys in somebody's parking lot, but I have threatened it. But I have personally took a trailer load of chicken and found a church and give it to the church. mainly because I sat there at a Walmart DC in South Alabama. I'm not going to name the location because there's a couple down there. But they wind up turning my load down because I sat there on their door after they backed me in with my doors open with frozen chicken. And when they went to temp check it, of course, we know their door was shut, but my doors was open again, locked with the bar on the back. And the temperature had rose so much. This is during the summer, August, I think is when it was, 2 years ago. Their temp on the birds where they had sat there and made me sit there for like 12 hours didn't meet the criteria for what they had to do, so they turned my whole load down. I had to check in. Good thing about it, DC, there's a time I checked in at the main office and the time I left. They had to eat the bill, but this was not very good words that come out of my mouth to them, because that messed up my reload, and I wasn't that far from the house, thank the good Lord. But I wound up donating it all to a church who did. None of it was. We checked it, the majority of it, not all of it, and most of it was still pretty solid frozen. But they got the temp gauges they got to go by for USDA and stuff like that. But if they do that, if they hold you up, that affects one load, ladies and gentlemen. Monday, I don't know when your pay starts, as far as your company, but whatever day it plans on, that first day determines your whole week. If that first day it gets off by any means, that messes up your whole week, especially on an ELD. Used to, on paper, it wasn't that bad because we could get in there and fix, finagle, color, whatever you wanted to call it. And I'm not saying illegally, because technically you're off duty, you're not doing anything. But you could get there and it wasn't killing your 14-hour clock. You wasn't chasing the clock. But now, with that ELD, if you drove 15 minutes from a truck stop to whatever location you're delivering at, and they hold you up like that, that's eating your 14-hour clock up. You have a right to go in there and tell them. It's like I said before, if they charge a lumper fee, they work for you. You're paying them. I don't care if it's the company paying them or what. It's on your time. They have to unload you, or you can leave. Don't be afraid of these companies telling you.
The truth is, the way that you ought to do it is call a federal marshal. And then when they show up, they will explain to them, they will say, you cannot hold this driver because it's against the law to restrict a driver from who is engaged in interstate commerce. You cannot hold him up. You can't stop him, and you've got 30 minutes to get this trailer unloaded. That's what they'll tell them. And then they'll say, driver, you're free to go in 30 minutes. And then, but if you want to stay a little longer, then it'll get you unloaded with a quickness. You'll be the fastest thing out there. They'll put 15 different doors of people unloading you, and it's happened. It has happened. But you can't, by law, you cannot hold up anyone engaging in interstate commerce. You have a federal license in your pocket that says it is a commercial driver's license. We are under federal law, but we also have the backup and support of the federal government, and we have the right to call in any issue at all. We can call and ask for them to send out a federal marshal, and they'll take a look at the situation and say, yeah, he's right, and then there you go. You can't be held up.
Also on that, when you start to charge an detention, you got 2 hours. I don't care what a broker, your company says. Like I said a while ago, don't let your company, your dispatcher, whatever, somebody goes home to their family every night, bully you around. You have the right to turn down a load if it's unsafe. You have a right to, like as far as hours, a community, say there's a certain area, there's some crime going on. You don't have to take that load, but what I'm getting to is you don't be bullied around. But you have, when they do detention, they say, yeah, it's going to be on your next check. I personally don't have Com Data, Fleet One, or none of them things. I don't have the convenience of them. Be nice if I did. But if you're charging detention and you start after that second hour, say you get $100, $200 an hour, whatever it may be. It's been a while since I've dealt with detention. But whatever the law guidelines is on it, and they say they're going to put it on your check, say, no, you can go ahead and fill out this check right here. And they can give it to you like that. Don't let them fool you. You can call and have it authorized. because a lot of times they won't do that now. Make it up, like make it look like, well, taxes took it or this, that, and other. No, you have the right. That's your time. Everybody, I don't give a crap what your company says, has a right to detention on there. I'm not saying you'll necessarily 100% get it, but you can at least say something about it. A lot of times it scares them to death, and they, well, we ain't going to do this. But lumper fees, you know, that's the biggest crock of money scheme I've ever seen in my life. You're delivering a company's product to them, and then they're going to charge you to unload it when they're paying these people an hourly rate. And it was like I was discussing with Mr Truckinstuff, these DCs, every 10th load they get, the 10th load, they've got nothing in it because of the money they've got on lumper fees. So they're technically getting free freight for every so many loads. And Mr. Icon said record all conversation with brokers or company, etc. That's a good point too. That way, when you do record, do it on a device, not necessarily record it by writing it down. That way, we all know this, and the ones that hadn't really been in it that long, your company will screw you, meaning a dispatcher will tell you one thing. And this, as far as he's talking about recording, that's anything. You get a load and they're pushing you, you have a wreck. You're going to be the one to go to prison if you don't have circumstantial evidence. Hey, my boss pretty much said if I didn't do it, I was fired. Record everything, because these folks are going home at night to their families. And I'm telling you this, and I don't care what company you work for. If I had 100 trucks, I might be the same way. But coming from the driver's seat, I'm hoping I wouldn't. You're a number to them. That's why when you call, you give them a driver ID number. I don't care what they say. You come to so-and-so, your family. We got 1,500 trucks. You come here, we treat you like family. Bull crap. You give him a number. All right. Record every conversation you can with them. If it's unnecessary, delete it. There ain't no sense to having an unnecessary conversation, but you can delete anything unnecessary, but you can record everything you hear, whether it's on a tablet, on your phone, whatever it may be, and record these conversations. And what's cool about America is you don't even have to tell them you're recording them.
Yeah, one party has to know, and it's you.
Yeah, but record everything.
I'd like to go into something real quick. A long time ago, which for me ain't that long time ago, but for some people they're like, really? They didn't used to have cell phones? So, just saying, before they had cell phones, we used to keep a tape recorder. This was before they even had the digital recorders that they started selling at Radio Shack. Those things are great, and they got them at Walmart now, I think, too. The little handheld digital recorder, they're thin. They're as wide as one of the old little bitty mini cassettes were. It was a mini cassette. It was a reel. Okay, so that mini cassette, what we had before they had digital, we would use that, and we called that a dispatcher buster or a dispatch buster. And they even had, honestly, in truck stops, they had some of them that had on it, printed on it, dispatch buster. And they were selling them in the truck stops. Then from there, we went to using, there's apps on your cell phone that can record your phone conversation. You got to learn how to use them and try them out first, make sure you did it right. But then you can hit the button every time and hit record, or you can have it set up to record every time. Then, after that, now you've got your computer log that you can have record of that, and you can even videotape it off your phone and show that log off your computer log, or you could just email it to yourself. You don't know it, but you can go into your computer log and email it to yourself. And then there's the companies that say, well, email me your paperwork. Well, if you're emailing paperwork into your company, here's how you need to do it so that, you know, they pay you on time, because a lot of them will lie, and they'll say, well, I never got that email, and that's a lie. Let me tell you how you do that. You email it. If you have two bosses that both want to see it, you email it to or whatever, you know, or to boss number one's email. Then you send it to boss number two's email, and then you email it to yourself. Listen to me. You add yourself in there, your own email address, as the third person you send it to. Then when you hit send, you know that when you got it, they got it. That is an office person's trick that they don't want to teach you, but I just told you. Email it to yourself. Anything else you want to say, bro?
Yeah, I've never done that personally, but that's a good idea, which I pretty much just deal with me and the guy's authority I run under. So I don't have that side. I've never really been to that side. Nothing against anybody that is. I don't know how to deal with it, but I do know the quirks and stuff like that. And like he was saying, as far as the email stuff, and Mr. Icon was saying about record everything, we can't stress this enough too, because a lot of your older drivers, and I don't mean by age, I mean people that's been out here 5+, 6+, 7+ years, you kind of catch on to this. Do what?
I just started yesterday. I ain't showing you my logbook.
Yeah, right. But a lot of these guys and gals that's been out here that amount of time has learned the tricks and the trade and the gimmicks and stuff, not just necessarily by going through it, but listening. You'll be surprised. It's like I always say, keep your mouth shut, your ears open and your eyes open. You can listen to conversations in a truck stop, kind of eavesdrop, and kind of see what a driver's going through. And majority is bigger company type things. Am I bashing on the bigger companies? No, not necessarily, because it's usually one or two individuals that's working for the big company, not the driver per se, but like a dispatcher or whatever labels they have going for them at the time. It's usually one or two people trying to meet that quota, trying to get that dispatcher of the month or week or whatever, trying to get that little bonus or whatever. You can kind of listen, and while we're telling you, is same thing on my channel as it is Truckinstuff's channel. Like I said earlier on that other live, I'm going to mainly talk about the mechanics of trucks, cars. I'm going to basically cover trucking stuff. And also, if you've got anything like Truckinstuff's doing, throw it this way, because I'm all about learning knowledge. You know, I've not been out here 20+ years. I've been driving a truck since I was 16 under farm law, but I've been over the road for 5 years. Constantly. I've never had nothing local. 5 years nonstop. Now, I don't know about no million-mile club or nothing like that, but that's what we're here for, to give you the advice. If you got any questions, throw it up. Subscribe, like. If you don't want to subscribe or like, that's fine. You just want to watch the videos when they are up after they are live, that's no problem. And I hope the advice that me and Mr. Truckinstuff give you, or if you are reading comments on either one of those things from the different subscribers, I hope it does benefit you. That's what we're here for. But don't mean to get on a rant about that, but we're out here to teach the ones that's just now coming in it, what we call the rookie drivers, the greenhorns, whatever. Don't take that. We've all been that. Don't take that as an insult. Take it as you're going to be somebody else. You're going to be calling somebody else that one day. That's just part of the game. But learn from the older drivers. Everything I know and learned, I didn't have necessarily a trainer per se. Everything I've learned is watching and listening and, asking. If I didn't know something, I asked. But that's what we're telling you. Record everything that you can possibly record and delete what you don't need, because God willing it don't happen. If you get in a wreck because you're pushing that clock, that E-log, they say is supposed to help with safety, this and another. You might be perfect on your E-log, but you have a wreck because you dozed off or this, that, and other. They're going to come at you every way they can from checking your valve stem covers. I mean, they get nitty gritty with it, from belts, valve stem covers to when you have a wreck. If you've got an oil leak, well, the wreck might have caused it. They're going to come at you any way you can. It might not be the DOT per se. It could be that billboard lawyer that's hunting that mailbox money.
They will go back as far back as they can, even if they have to say, well, you left this place earlier than your break, or you should have took this, or this was wrong, or they'll go back as far as when you were born. They'll say he was premature born. He wasn't even supposed to be here for another 30 minutes. This guy here, it must be his fault, right? That's what they'll do. They'll do what they got to do.
And with that, like you just said, it don't matter if you just started today. You can already tell there's hardly no. I'm lucky right now. I'm in a rest area. It's at midnight, but parked, and there's a few parking spots. But earlier today, where the trucks are parked out towards the road, it must have been full earlier today. You can tell there's nowhere to park, meaning you leave somewhere, in that first 8 hours, you're required by DOT law, paper or ELD, to take a 30-minute break. We've all run in this. It don't matter where you run. If you come into a big city, traffic jam messes your rotation up, a wreck. You know, these things happen on the road, and they say prepare your day, prepare this. Yes, that does help, but when you've prepared for 3 hours to park up somewhere before you get in a big city and you're shut down in a traffic jam, that kind of affects when you take your break. Some people take it right then and there, especially if it ain't moving. I see nothing wrong with that, because you're technically off duty. You're not going to move for the next hour or so. Go off duty. I personally don't think it's illegal. Am I telling you I'm a lawyer and telling you it is right? No. I'm saying to conserve my time and to keep me from getting a logbook violation, I'm not rolling. I'm sitting with my air brakes applied in a wreck. So therefore, I'm going to use my time wisely and kick it off duty. But again, I'm not saying that is DOT legal. I don't know. I've not got that deep in the law on it. But what I'm getting at is, like I was saying, record and take note of everything you can learn, and record everything these dispatchers put on your load managers, whatever their title is, because they're pushing you to get, believe it or not, they get better ratings for a company these big companies work for. And they actually get bonuses and stuff. If they've got 100 trucks assigned to them and 75% of them trucks are on time and does this, well, they get a little bit of money kicked back to them. You don't get nothing. All right, so it's not really benefiting you if you take your time versus killing yourself to do it. You're not benefiting nothing. You're still making the same pay.
It used to be they give you a gold watch, but you would think they ran out of gold the way they don't. They can't do it no more. They ain't going to do it no more. You're not going to get a gold watch at the end of it.
Well, they make more money, and here's something a lot of people don't know. Your real truck drivers, as we call it, there's a few still left. Most of the people now steering wheel holders, because they don't have the adequate training and stuff like that. They make more money because most of your big companies have their own school now, and they got a funding of turnout. A company that can turn out, have a bad turnout, makes more money than a company that's got 20 plus year veteran drivers that's been there even from the start of their career to the finish. They don't want to keep that. They want to rotate, constantly have a movement. Say a driver comes into this company, goes through the school, does his training, and leaves that company to go to another company he thinks might be better, and it might be. He does their driving test. 90% of the time, they're going to say, you're going to have to take a refresher course. You might have left on a Friday and started that Monday. Never even went home. Just left that truck on a Friday and drove. Just say you got dropped off from the old company to the new company's terminal on a Friday, and you start that Monday, you do their driver test. Well, you don't quite meet our criteria. We're going to give you a refresher course. You just spent all that time with that trainer, 3-4 weeks, ever how long they do it now. Plus, you went through their school, so that company gets a big kickback for that. Not to mention the money they make off paying you $250, $350, $400 a week for running all them miles, them 3,000 miles you done run that week. That's all you brought home. They get the money from the freight and all that kickback. Then you go to this new company. Now, guys and gals, I'm telling you this from the ones that can't seem to catch a break. I hear it all the time. Man, I left this company to go where I didn't have to be with a trainer because I did my time, and I'm still stuck with the trainer. It ain't necessarily got to do with your driving. Here's the catch to it. They call it catch-22. You're leaving this company with 4 weeks of training. You've got to pass a driving test with an instructor that's never drove a truck more than probably 300 miles in his whole trucking career. He's somebody that just went and passed the CDL test. He got a college degree. Boom. He looks like a good candidate to give a driving test to. They want you to double clutch this, that, and other. All right, you get in there and you do one thing wrong. You do not meet that criteria. So what do? Put you in a refresher course for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe even put you with a trainer for 4 weeks. My daddy-in-law, who I personally trained in cow hauling, got his CDLs. I put him in a truck with me. Not the best driver in the world, but could float gears. Learning. Just got his CDLs. He's been to work for 2 different companies, went through the whole procedure of what he's supposed to go through, and one company kept pushing him around about getting a truck, wanted to keep him with a trainer until they get a truck. No. You got a yard full of trucks, and you're saying that they already leased out, and you come back a week later and they're still there. put him in a truck. But what I'm getting at is that when you go to that other company and they put you in that refresher course with a trainer, guess what? They're making money off you by that freight, because you're not going to make, they'll say, we're going to pay you $450 a week for 2 more weeks. You do your 2 weeks, you come back, you mess up again. What are they going to do? Another week. They're nickel and diming you to death. This is the reason these companies...
Well, it ain't just nickel and diming. They're taking your entire check, because here's the thing. If you don't deliver a load and they have it set up where you only get paid by Friday or whatever, and then they keep that money all weekend, their money's in the stock market. And they make a promise to banks that they have CDs and stocks and stuff in, that they will have X amount every week in there. And one of the ways they keep your money in there is by moving the goalposts, making it hard for you to turn in your paperwork. Oh, well, hey, you didn't turn in, well, and they don't give you advances or whatever they do. And then here's the other way. The other way is, if they can lie and say that they didn't get the email, or, oh, well, they put all your loads in, oh, except one. That's what they're doing to you. They're making money off of keeping your money and all the other drivers, and collectively it's millions of dollars, in the stock market for them to be able to not use that money to pay you and earn interest off your money. You got to stop doing some things too, people. You got to stop using your credit cards to pay for your hotel rooms and your stuff that they tell you, oh, just pay for it, we'll reimburse you on your check on Friday. You might as well be running your own business, because you're floating the money and you're financing theirs. That's what's going on. Everybody's saying, well, I don't want to have to be an owner-operator because I don't want to have all that overhead. You are paying the overhead for a company if you're paying for a hotel that they're going to reimburse you. No. They probably got to deal with that hotel. You show up in the middle of the night, they probably have a deal where they can either pay for it with a credit card, or they'll say, well, we have an arrangement with them, and every week they send us a bill. You got to stop financing other people's business, and they're making millions, and you're, oh, well, they give it back to me every time. Yeah, a week later, after they earn interest off yours and everybody else's money, and they have no overhead. So you are covering the overhead for their business, but you're still calling yourself a company driver. Explain to me how that's true. You know what I'm saying? You're not, if you're paying for the business, call yourself an owner-operator. Go ahead, because you're paying for it. You're floating it. Am I not right, kid?
You are exactly right. And another thing they don't realize, and I'm going to get into breaking down some owner-operator things. Since you said that, I'm going to try to make some points on that, too, to show where their money is and where money ain't, as far as owner-operator and company over the overhead. But another thing is a factoring company. These big companies have multiple factoring companies. Them ELDs you run, that you get your load info on it, and then you say delivered to shipper, bill signed. They print that off, and they send that to a factoring company. A lot of people don't know what a factoring company is. A factoring company is, I don't personally have one. When they say we hadn't got paid for that load yet, I've heard it time and time again from big companies. I'm talking about 1,500 plus truck companies. We hadn't got paid for that load yet. Bull crap. The moment you do that button on that e-log, it's sent to a factoring company. What a factoring company is pretty much a backing agency. They know that you're going to get paid for it. So they go ahead and pay that company. They pay a factoring company so much a month, so much a year, ever how they got it set up, so much a week. And they send that bill laden in. It's got how much it was a mile, how much straight freight, whatever. They know the price of how much it costs to deliver that load. That factory company goes ahead and deposits that money in the bank as soon as they send them the BOL. And what the factory company gets in return is a monthly, yearly, or weekly payment, plus they get that money back. All the factory company does is go ahead and deposit the money in, like you said, a promise to pay. So all this, we ain't got paid yet, we ain't received this, bull crap. Also, not just the ELDs, these bigger companies have got stuff worked out with these big DCs that you see dedicated. Swift is big in Walmart. It used to be Martin, but Swift's in big with Walmart right now. Anytime you're a Swift driver and you deliver at Walmart, your paperwork is sent right then and there. As soon as it's signed, sealed, delivered, before you get it, Swift has done got it. I'm going to go on the owner-operator thing for a second. A lot of people, like you just said, don't want the overhead, don't want the headache. I hear that a lot. I hope you do good in owner-operator, but I couldn't do it because of the headache. The headache in owner-operator is no different than the headache you go through as a company driver. And understand me when I say this. Yes, God willing, I don't want no breakdowns, but I've had them. Company driver, you don't want no breakdowns, but you have them. The only difference between you and me is I got to pay to fix it. Or use a credit card. Either way, I'm having to come out of pocket to fix it. You, on the other hand, don't. The difference between that is my increase on income versus what you make. Am I boasting or bragging by any means? I'm not boasting and I'm not bragging. God has blessed me successfully, and I hope that nobody takes offense to this. If this is a career you like, and this is a career you have passion in, that you're just not, we all got bad days, but you're just not every day miserable at it. Like I said it again, Mr Truckinstuff will back my play on it. Take pride in what you do, but set goals. You might not want a big stretched out Pete. You might not want a big W9. You might be a Freight Shaker International, Mac, whatever, Volvo person. But this is your career. Don't sell yourself short thinking company is all there is and you can't make it an owner-operator. You can't make it running your own authority. I got a buddy right now who makes more money than I've possibly ever known. I'm going to keep his name silent because I don't want the IRS getting in on it, because I'm sure he does everything by the book, but I might not know. One of my best friends, he's got his own authority, and he's got one truck, and he owns 2 different trailers, different types of trailers. Makes killer money. He just built his motors, $20,000. He just built that motor. He paid cash for his reefer trailer and paid cash to have his motor built. Why am I saying this? Because of the revenue he brings in. It's nothing for him to bring in $3,000 or $4,000 after the smoke clears. And when I say smoke clears, that's after fuel, truck payment, insurance, everything. He pockets $3,000 or $4,000 a week on this. Like I say, he's got accountants that does his taxes and stuff like that. There's no reason to sell yourself short. Another thing is, when you're an owner-operator, if I want to put my daddy-in-law, Truckinstuff, you want to come ride with me, I can employ you and know what I've got to have to make my truck work, and say if freight was good, pay you $1,200 a week and split the driving. That's teaming. That's what team driving should be like if you want a team. I personally, no offense to anybody, don't want a team. I mean, I might let my daddy-in-law run with me. I'm married to his daughter. We know we ain't gay. Nothing to offend nobody that might be. That's y'all's thing. I'm just not, and I don't feel comfortable in that situation. But what I'm getting at, I like being in a truck by myself unless my wife or son's with me or my daddy-in-law, because I got it set the way I want to. But team drivers, hear me out. This is where y'all get sold so short, and Truckinstuff can back my play on it. When you go and take your buddy, y'all went to driving school together, went to the same company's driving school, whatever it may be. It's your best friend. Y'all have fun, whatever. I'm not saying you can't have fun, but when they tell you that y'all will get paid 54 cents, 65 cents a mile, hear me out, please. You're not making that a piece. They take that rate and split it in half. So from that 60 cents a mile, one driver's getting 30, the other driver's getting 30. All right. Also, the hours are not going to be even. Somebody's going to do more driving than the other one. Why am I saying this? Somebody's going to come off duty, go on duty. You're going to be at that receiver or your shipper. You say you're going to California. You pick up in Atlanta, Georgia. The first guy gets there, drives in, sits there for 6 hours, 7 hours at the shipper. Obviously, he's not going to drive as much as the other guy because he's going to come on fresh. So he's going to drive. He's going to do his, and he's going to drive. Well, it's going to come back around to where the guy that was at the shipper that drove for 5 hours is going to have like 4 or 5 hours left of his clock to go to California. He's going to drive there, sit another 6 or 7 hours. Before you know it, it's going to go. This is going to flip-flop back and forth. I'm going to give you a piece of advice on this. Some people love team driving. But remember this, it's hard to raise 2 households out of one truck. I had an older gentleman that drove a truck for years tell me that, and I wasn't even talking about going to team. He just gave me a piece of advice like me and Mr Truckinstuff try to give. It's hard to raise 2 households, meaning 2 wives and 2 families out of one truck. And the reason I say that is a single driver can get 50, 40, 60 cents a mile. All right? A team driver gets 25, 30 cents a mile. The truck's making 60, 69 cents a mile, whatever they're advertising. For team drivers, that is split in half. And you know.
Something else you ain't thinking about too if you mess around with team driving is this. That thing's running 24/7. You are killing it.
Oh yes, devastating.
So here's the thing: instead of having to change an alternator in 4 years or 5 years, you're changing it in 2. You're going to be in the shop twice as much. So it's downtime.
Another thing I was supposed to say too, and I appreciate you covering that because I wasn't gonna go mechanics side of it, but that is a good point. Another thing is a lot of people that ain't best friends that get put with their teammates, and y'all become buddies. Here's another problem. One of you might live in Kentucky, one of you might live in Tennessee. These big companies try to keep you pretty close together, or Georgia and Alabama. They're still miles right there. Meaning, unless you like unpacking and totally cleaning out that truck every time you come home and then restocking it, your stuff's in that truck. You're nowhere near that truck. Somebody's got to take the truck home, unless it's in the shop, and say, you're with Covenant Transport, nothing against this company, I'm just using them for a reference. You live in Alabama, they're based in Chattanooga. That truck's got to stay there. They like to keep you out for a little bit. I don't know exactly. I can't go in detail on what their policies are because I do not want to say something that is wrong. But say they want to keep you out a couple of weeks at a time. You acquire a lot of things for that trip, and you're going to have stuff put in there, stuff you've bought on the road. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're leaving that truck. My truck stays with me at my house, or it's either at my shop for the guy I work for. It's not my shop, it's his, but it's in a fence. And I've got the only keys to the truck, meaning somebody breaks in it, they're going to have to bust the windows out. You don't know who the mechanics is going to prying around. I hope the mechanics at Covenant don't do that. And I don't mean that. I'm just making a point, nothing against Covenant Transport. But when you run in team, like he's supposed to say, or like he did say on the alternator breaking down, your teammate might have hit tough times. He might have had a bill that come through that was on direct, withdrawal from his bank account, and his check ain't went in yet. That's another mouth you've got to feed, because surely you ain't going to be heartless. That's another shower credit you got to come off of if, he ain't got the points to take a shower or whatever. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with running team.
He's got the truck. He quits and he's got the truck, and then you're out. Because either way, one of you is actually, truthfully, a split seat driver. Even if y'all stay in the same truck all the time, you're going to have to take everything out of that truck. Because what if he quits? That truck's somewhere else. They don't have a driver to get to it. You're not the one to go pick it up. They're going to put you with another driver.
Another thing is, like you're saying on team, a lot of people love it. A lot of husband and wives do it. That's great. I wish my wife would get a CDLs and let's go burn the roads up. I'd put a different sleeper on this truck with a shower, and we'd keep her hot. But it's hard to set up a truck the way you want it with 2 people in it that's totally strangers that just met, even as best friends. Also, it's hard to constantly have a good attitude when somebody you're around 24/7 has got a bad attitude. It's hard to do them types of things.
If you're sleeping and they want to listen to the radio, but they got to keep it low. Just those little things will make you basically not like the other person, because it's like, man, and I don't care what you think you can get used to. You will get to where you resent that other person for being another stop off before you get to where you're trying to go to drop them off or whatever. Them complaining to you they were supposed to be home an hour ago. Whatever. All of a sudden, when you're going to drop them off, you don't turn into an Uber or one of them Lyft drivers. You got a passenger that's complaining about how come it's taking them so long to get them there.
Oh yeah, CB radios are hard to run when somebody's trying to sleep because you got to follow that common courtesy line.
Yeah.
It's hard to run a CB radio to know what's going on. Also, drivers, ones that's never run team, and might be thinking to do it. It's hard to sleep in the back of a truck going down the road and get a good night's sleep. And this is something, and I'm not meaning to poke any fun or try to change laws. That is probably one of the most dangerous. If they want to overlook at something that's dangerous in trucking, is team driving. The reason I'm saying that, here's a point I'm going to make, and I believe everybody agree with me. I've run team with one of my good buddies and my dad-in-law, like I said. It's hard to sleep going across Interstate 10 in Louisiana while you're bouncing 4 foot out of the bed. or your partner having to hit the brakes because somebody jumped in front of him.
77 in North Carolina, and you got, even if you got the net back there, it's rolling you against the net. You're about to fall out of bed because you're going down a mountain.
Oh, it's awful. You can't get the adequate rest you need versus being by yourself, stopped, parked, trucks not moving. Your mind is constantly racing. You can't, when you sleep and need to rest, you need your mind to be completely relaxed. It's hard to do that running team. I personally think teams should be outlawed.
How about if you wake up and you need to use the restroom, but the driver ain't planning on stopping for another 3 hours?
Because he can't, because the ELD won't let him, because it's going to mess with his time or this, that, and other. That's nothing against team drivers. Believe me when I say this, I have the respect for you just like I do anybody else. But I personally think for safety concerns, since they're so worried about that, team drivers should be outlawed. That's my opinion. Because everybody's rush for this freight, and talking about all this shortage of drivers. You split up the teams, you won't have a shortage of drivers.
Well,
Your freight arrived the same amount of time, dropping hook.
They've got a lot of company drivers. I just now missed a deer. How about that? They've got a lot of company drivers that they've got them thinking in their head that the be-all, end-all of the greatest part of money would be training another driver to get paid more money per mile and being a team with that driver and them driving while you're in the sleeper. And that's training from the fog. I'm against that. But the point is, that's not the most money you can make in trucking. The most money is oversized and overweight, and they work like 3 to 6 months out of the year, and then they go home. Or running step deck and running some stuff for like a government contractor.
DOD loads.
Kind of stuff. Yeah. Well, I was thinking, that A&E. But there's a happy medium if you just want to haul a box, and you can get into a company that will sell you a truck with no money down, no money up front. Because I don't recommend when you're first starting to go and buy a truck, because you could lose everything you got. But here's the thing: if you are going to buy a truck, think about it like this: why would you spend money to get a job? Would you ever think of going to any employer in your town and saying, "Hey, listen, I've saved up $10,000 and I need a job. I'll give you that $10,000 if you give me a job"? That's crazy. You don't spend money. You make money. Put that money away. Forget about that. Start with a company that'll put you up front. They'll pay for the tag. They'll give you a bonus. That kind of a situation, what you want to start out in. Then if you want to take money, go out and buy one that's just been blown up. Okay? This is how I bought my first few. That was the same price as the one across the street from it. Say they're both like $16,000, $17,000, $25,000, whatever. And one's just been blown up and did an in-frame on it. They probably put a clutch in there while it was in there. It's probably got good brakes on it too, so they would pass it. And they're selling it to you. It was under warranty, but the guy couldn't wait or whatever happened, and they wound up with the truck. You buy that truck, and it's the same price as one that has not been rebuilt, that's got 600 or 800 or a million miles on it, across the street. So you got a warranty. You got a warranty and a fresh build on an engine, and you're paying pennies for it. That's what you save up for. But in the meantime, don't go out and put a bunch of money down and say, "I'm going to invest in this business." That's not an investment. That's losing money, because it's going to take too long for you to get it back. It needs to be a cost-benefit analysis. So what you need to think is, how long is it going to take me to get this money back? And I done told people I ain't going to be a financial guru, but I'll give you this advice. If you go out and you do any type of financing where a company is zero down and they pay for the tag, and they'll give you a sign-on bonus and a free so long without a payment or whatever, you save up your money. You're saving up owner-operator money. Then you turn around and take that money, and you want to do financing through a truck place that's in the truck trader or whatever, and they'll finance it. I got to be honest. I've heard about them dumping all these trucks on Lone Mountain Leasing, is why I don't steer nobody towards them. But that's the type of thing you want. But they want like $8,000 down on this. Even at that point, if you're paying more than $1,000 or $2,000 down, you're spending too much to put down on a truck. They'll do it for $1,000 to $2,000 down, and they'll also, if you have a contract, people don't understand credit, okay? But you can have the worst credit in the world, but if you have signed a lease to be leased onto a company, and then you go to buy a truck, and you show them a copy of that lease, that means you got guaranteed money coming in as long as they give you that truck. With a CDL and a lease, that is your credit. It's a whole another different kind of credit. It's like a third rail of credit. It's like black web or dark web on the internet. It is not affected by your credit score when they do it, when you have a contract in front of you at $1,000 to $2,000 down. They might want to act like it is, but it's not. That's why these companies can sign you over a truck to buy through them without you having, or you have bad credit or no credit, or you're like, how did I buy a couple $100,000 truck? It's because the contract is your credit, and they know that they're going to get their money straight out of that contract.
Another thing that you're talking about here, I think we need to touch base on. This is a lot of things you young drivers. When I say young, again, I'm referring time in the business, not age. Where these big companies get you in is lease purchasing through the company. Now, I know there's several drivers that have done this and been very successful with it and didn't get guru'd over. But when you're paying $120,000, and hear me out, say you work for this company. I'm not going to name a company. I mean, there's several of them that do it. They got a 2016 Ford, Cascadia. And they like to throw in that rare, whatever that one with the mirrors on the side is. Evolution, I think is what it's called. They didn't make many of these. Yeah, they did. But that truck, a 2016, I can buy right now with a 13-speed in it. DD13, DD15. I can show you and document it. You can go to Truck Paper and look at them. 400,000 miles on it. We'll just say that. Still a young truck as far as mileage goes, but it's a 16 model. I can get it all day long for $35,000. Dressed as much as that truck could possibly be dressed. But also, when you go to these companies and do this lease purchase thing, by the time it's all said and done, what that company give for that truck, you're giving it plus some, and no telling who's been in it. And I'm going to touch base on that too and break down why you need to be cautious. Not saying that you don't need to do it. You're in control of your own finances, and I hope me and Truckinstuff especially hope you do well in this business. We take passion in it. We love it. We have our ups and downs in it, but we do love it for the most part. But remember too, a lot of these trucks they're selling, these leased trucks, are trainer trucks, meaning a trainer has been in this truck, which is a good thing sometimes. But there's been people that don't know how to drive a truck. They know how to drive a truck enough to get their CDLs. But they're with a trainer because they technically need to learn how to double clutch, drive, load, back, all this stuff. What we would call finishing school. They need to learn. That truck has been through the ringer for that 250, 300,000 miles of its life. It was bought brand new. A trainer got in it from day one. Has had many feet and hands on a shifter. A piece of equipment, being a truck, a tractor, adjusts to the person driving it. This truck I got right here was going to drive different for me, whether if Truckinstuff drove it. He's going to drive it different than I do. The truck's going to interact and operate different for him, and probably going to be a little stubborn with him versus I can get it and just float through the gears, do what I got to do. It might take him a little bit longer to do it because the synchronizers have adjusted out, grooved out. People, you don't understand that a piece of machinery goes by how you operate it, and it adjusts. Not like it's got a brain, but like I said, the synchronizer transmission is grooved, pitted, whatever you want to say, to the way I shift. He might grind a gear where I wouldn't grind. I might grind a gear in his truck where he wouldn't grind. My point is, you're fixing to give $120,000, $180,000 for a truck that you can buy for $35,000 or $40,000. Okay, you don't have the cash right now. What did I tell you earlier? Set goals. Save what you can, whether it's $100 a week, whether it's $1,000 a week, whatever you can afford. Save, set them goals. You don't have to necessarily have it right here, right now. Learn what you can learn before you take that big step. Because when I say big step, it is a huge step. Going from pretty much being no worries at all. Everything's not really given to you, but everything you need is right there in front of you. Versus of having to get it on your own, having to pay your own fuel. I mean, am I complaining about it? No, but there is things you need to learn before. Boom, you've been in the business a year. I'm ready to be an owner operator. Think about it. Am I telling you can't succeed? No. Trucking stuff ain't saying you can't succeed. What we're saying is take in what you can learn, because that step is daylight and dark. Yes, you might can drive a truck, but the responsibilities from being an owner operator versus a company driver is a lot of difference in that, far as responsibility. From going to not really having to pay, not have to worry about anything. You swap a fuel card. Going owner operator, they're not just going to give you a $100,000 fuel card. They like to set boundaries. You might get $1,500, you might get $2,000, you might get $2,500. I don't know. It's based on credit, but it's also your insurance factor and fuel and stuff. They want to kind of see how things are going to progress before they just turn you loose. Your insurance is going to be out of the roof for your first year. You're going to get audited your first year. Regardless, they're going to audit you your first year if you have your own authority. There's different things that you're not going to be used to. You're not going to know how to prep. Logging miles. When I say that, state miles. That way the DOT requires that, as far as knowing how many miles you run in that state a year, a quarterly, whatever it may be. They've got to have that. So you've got to go down the highway and trip meter this thing and know how many miles. I do it all the time. Trucking stuff can tell you. There's different things you got to go through on this step you're going to take. And I encourage everybody, if that's their goal and their whatever, learn. I'm constantly asked stuff all the time from big company owner operators. That's what I call a big company, but small company, 10, 20 trucks type people. I ask them stuff all the time. What can I do to increase this? What can I do for fuel mileage? I used to shop the big high-end fuel stores, Love's, Pilots, all these locations. Nothing against them on my behalf or y'all's behalf. Good showers and stuff like that. But I found that the more mom and pop stuff has got cheaper fuel. I'd rather I don't get the points. I don't get the benefits that you get at the Loves and the bigger places. But the points ain't worth nothing to me when I can knock off $600 a week in fuel because they're cheaper. And you got to take small stuff in up, tires, oil. You know, these places might be more expensive than a mom and pop place on oil changes. I do all mine myself. I'm just saying, you got to take in factors on these things. Filters. What filter's the best for your truck? Big companies go cheaper. You know, hey, we're going to run this. You know, when you go become owner operator, you want the best of the best. Why? You want to run the best oils, the best filters, the best belts, the best, like I said, air filters, the best dope that you put in your rear engine transmission. Why do you want to do this? Because that saves you money in the long run. Something me and my buddy does, I was telling you about earlier. If we hear a crack or a creak on our truck, we don't run all the way home. We don't run to a shop. We stop at the nearest location and we see if we can't find it. We carry a toolbox. I've got enough tools on this truck. I can do everything but take the wheels off.
Now, spare parts. In the middle of nowhere, that's where you're at. And at that point,
get the pantyhose.
You know, hey, get you some pantyhose. Now, but look, a turbo boot, just to have a spare turbo boot, that's one of the cheapest ones you can get. Let's just say that it's $5 for a clamp, so two of them's $10. And then a turbo boot, let's just say it's $15 or $25, whatever. You might think, well, that's a lot of money just to be paying for something that's going to ride around in the box. Yeah, that's fine. But guess what?
It'll get you outside the road.
You just saved yourself a $1,700 or $3,000 wrecker bill.
Speaking on that, I'm going to tell you something else to get. It's a little pricey for what it is, but I have used it several times. I've never used it personally in this truck. Like I said, the Lord has blessed me thus far. Other than a wire, I mean, he still blessed me. I had to put a wire harness in. Nothing against, saying he caused it. That's trucking. Get the flex tape. I highly, highly recommend everybody. I don't care what color you get, but the flex tape you see advertised. I can guarantee you, if you have a blowed radiator hose with a pinhole in it, air conditioner line, this stuff works. I've used it. I had a EGR cooler hose, rubber grommet blowed. I put flex tape on it, made it from Texas or from Florida to Texas, and put a dip can in the bottom of it on the EGR cooler. But I'm telling you, small stuff like trucking stuff, saying like I'm saying, works. You know, the pantyhose thing, it works. Me and him was joking and cutting up with it, but that works. Duct tape, electrical tape is your friend. Do what now?
I said, y'all hear this kid's going to give me a hard time about pantyhose, but I think his flex tape is pink.
Hey, don't judge the flex tape. But that stuff, like we were saying, you could hit a rock and get a diesel tank cracked. Flex tape will seal it up long enough. It's better to do that. And guys, this ain't just owner-operator stuff. This is company stuff too. This will keep you from getting off the side of the, being on the side of the road, getting you to where you got to be. Flex tape it. I've used it on a fuel tank. Matter of fact, I did use some on this truck because it used to have APU on it before we stretched it and everything, and which I went back and fixed the tank where the hole was where the APU, the sending unit was. But I had to put flex tape on it for that because it was on the top side and I'd hit a bump and my fuel was coming out. It wasn't much. I'm sure it wasn't even a gallon, but that's money. But to keep stuff like that, you know, whether it's pantyhose, duct tape, keep electrical tape, keep duct tape, keep fuses, guys and gals. Fuses, whether you buy it or the company buys it, I don't care who buys it. This is a point in time right here. What we're talking about is going to be whether you're on the side of the road getting a ticket from DOT because they're going to put you out of service. You know, I've seen drivers get put out of service because a fuse was blown because they didn't have no running lights. Couldn't figure out what was wrong because the fuse was blown. There's people that don't even know where the fuse panel's located. Me and Trucking Stuff will go over that, and I think you have touched base as far as the Freightliner and stuff like that. But trucks ain't just got one fuse box. This truck right here that I'm in is a 379 Peterbilt extended hood. I've got a fuse panel under my bunk. I've got one by my quarter panel on the driver's side. Then I got one behind my cluster with relays in it, behind my gauges. Your truck ain't just got one fuse panel.
Let me tell them something they don't know. If you have a new Freightliner and you have not been in your fuse box yet, I'm going to tell you what you got to go through. You got to have a Torx set. Some people call them star head or whatever, but the Torx set, it's like an Allen wrench in a pack, but it's a Torx bit. You got to have one of those just to take the 4 screws out. Once you open up your glove box, there's 4 screws. You need a tool just to unscrew the screws and remove on your passenger side, your glove box. And then there's a Velcro piece covering a piece of plastic for you to take off just to get to your fuses in the first place. You need tools to get in there. You need a lot of tools in your truck, but you can't even open up the fuses or get to the fuses in your fuse box without a tool.
Another good thing to have is the fuses that light up. They're a little more pricey, but it keeps you from searching. They light up when they're blowed. They're good to have because if you blow a fuse, boom, you can see mine, if it blows, I can see it in the floor at night, a little red dot lighting up. It's good to have them things.
Hey, kid, they make a fuse that is a relay switch.
Yes, and you can push it back in.
Yeah, if you have a wire that's shorted on a trailer, that if you remove a 15 or 10 amp fuse, and then you put one in there, and instantly it just popped again. And you're like, man, I ain't got but 2 more fuses. I can't do this all night. You buy you a few of those that have a relay on them.
Guys, if y'all don't know what they look like they got a little red flag that pops out, and you can push it back in with your finger. It's in the top center of them.
Then you only need 1 fuse until you find the problem. You just leave it up. You find the problem on the trailer, see if you find the short, and if you fix it, then you didn't blow 15 fuses, you know?
The fuses get expensive, but these things we're telling you about is things that were literally, don't take rocket scientists to find a leak and tape it up, fix a belt, whatever it is. But this stuff can get you off the side of the road because DOT can shut you down, can cost you your job because then the company's not going to take the file and say, well, you didn't pre-trip. These things happen going down the road. And then these companies have what they call a DAC report. A lot of you don't know what that is. That's pretty much like your school record, but for trucking. That follows you around. I mean, if you quit under load, you get shut down. They can put all these things on your DAC report, and they will. Let me explain something to you. And Mr. Truckinstuff, I believe, has explained it in a couple of videos of his own. When it comes down to the boiling point, they're not going to take the file for you. Like we said about recording. If it is a big enough ticket and you racked up some fines because of a blowed fuse, and DOT can get you for that. And adequate lighting because you blew a fuse. You didn't mean to blow it. You didn't know a wire got wet and sparked and blew a fuse. You can get tickets. You can rack up $1,000 of tickets because of one blowed fuse. You know, he'll go through there and pick it apart. That company's not going to pay that ticket. That company's going to put it on you. They're not going to make their insurance go up because they're going to say it's driver's fault. You didn't pre-trip inspect the truck. Then you're going to get fired. Then they're going to put it on your DAC report. Then the next company might start out this, but you're going to take base pay just to get in their door. Then it happens again. That's what we're preaching. Learn what you can learn. Take this. There's nothing wrong with having a toolbox in your truck. That's the best advice I believe a trucker could give another trucker. Keep screwdrivers, torque bits, wrenches, sockets, tire gauges, all that kind of stuff. Put it in the toolbox under your side box. That's where mine is, on my driver's side under my bunk. I never hear it rattle. Don't keep empty jugs, guys and gals. Empty jugs. It's not good to run water in your motor, but if you ain't got coolant, keep some water jugs in there. Because if it's running hot, you're low on coolant, whatever. You got a truck stop 3 exits up, you got water to put back in there. Also, when you do this, do not cut the engine off. You'll crack the head. Leave the motor running when you apply the cold water.
Jumper cables, man. I've been meaning to do a video on all the stuff that you should keep in your truck and extra parts and stuff. But jumper cables, man.
A lifesaver.
Yeah. The big ones now, you get the big gauge ones. If you ever go to Wildwood, Florida,
all the time.
There's a guy in there called the Tool Man.
Yeah, I go there all the time.
He'll sell you the bigger gauge jumper cables for cheap.
But this stuff we're talking about, bottles of water, that's for you. But also, if you have a radiator leak, you got some water. You got it also for your the what?
The airline to pump up tires.
Oh, yes.
I got a reel from Harbor Freight, and I did a video on that reel that I bought from Harbor Freight. That thing is better than the way I used to do it by rolling it up and putting it in a milk crate. I love that reel. And you can pick one up from Harbor Freight with a hose already on it and put a glad hand on one end. And contrary to popular belief, a red glad hand will hook to a blue glad hand. It doesn't matter. They're exactly the same. You can hook your two glad hands together. People have got it in their brain. They're different. They're not.
No, what it is they have got it wrong, but all you got to do, one is goes to the trailer, and the other one is a supply and return. That's all it does. It makes a big circle.
Yeah, but if you have a blue one and your red one goes bad, you can remove the blue one and if you remove the red one that went bad, put a blue one on it, it's going to hook up the same. It's just the wrong color for that side. That's all. It's just a color. So you spray paint it. So people used to get them that had no color on them, and that way they would just paint the tab on it with spray paint, and it was cheaper to buy the ones that weren't colored. If you want to really go cheap with it, but I'm talking about if you want to make an airline, go to Harbor Freight and get the reel with the airline already in it. Buy a glad hand of any color. It doesn't matter. You can get the red, you can get the blue, or you can get the older plain one that looks like a goldish color that's some kind of an anodized or whatever you want to call it, coated to prevent rust color, and then just spray paint it yourself if you want to, but you don't have to spray paint it if you're using it for an airline, and it'll hook to the supply line, whenever you go to hook up, you take it off and hook it up, and to release the brakes, you hook it up to that, and you've got air to pump up your own tire. Also,
guys, understand when he says this, that don't mean you can hook them up backwards on the trailer. You do that, your trailer brakes might not release, or you won't have trailer brakes. So don't hook them up backwards. Don't put blue on red and red on blue.
No. Yeah, no.
But yeah, this stuff right here, guys, is stuff from two truck drivers that's been through it, who's also learned from the ones that paid the path for us. Just take knowledge of this stuff. Like I said, as far as being an owner-operator, that's a big leap. Even for people, it's still a huge leap for me. You know, I still find out ways to do this and ways to do that, how to save money. My truck's not running right now. It's a little cold outside, but I'm not freezing to death. I've got double blankets on my bed back there. I don't run my truck at night if I can afford it.
Two pair of locking pliers. Here's why. You can wrap an airline with electrical tape and then put like a rag around it, then lock locking pliers onto it, the center part of the locking pliers.
Vice grips is what he's talking about.
Yeah, vice grips. Either way, locking head pliers. And that will pinch off the airline, and then that way you can, if you had to get a brake chamber that's locked up, you can get the thing to move if it has an airline leak in that hose also. So you can cage it and you can pinch that line off and pinch the return line off. But here's the thing. What you really want those for is to at least have one of them all the time handy. For when you're sliding your axles, it's not a two-person job. It's a one-person job, people. Don't have somebody with their arm under the trailer, and then you pull up, and they're trying to hold that bar out because the groove is worn out, and it won't lock it out of position, or it needs to be pulled further because it's worn out. All you got to do, pull that bar out and take the locking head pliers and clamp down on that bar, and it'll stop it from going in, and then go up, and you can slide your own axles. That way, even if the rod is bent, has to come out further, or if the notch won't notch, the locking pliers will hold it even further than that notch in order to pull all four pins in for you to slide your axles. I got a video on that.
That's a really good point also. But the main point was tonight, I mean, we got scattered, which we always do when we get to talking. It's courtesy. Don't turn your headlights on. And when you pull into a fuel station, don't bright light nobody to get over. Just some general knowledge that every truck driver should know, no matter young or old. And I mean that by years in the business, not age. Steps to take, what you got at risk as far as driving period, dealing with brokers or dispatchers, steps to take on to save you and to cover your rear. Thinking about becoming an owner operator, it's a big leap. We went over that a little bit. And different things like that. Me and Mr. Truckinstuff's going to run some miles. I'm going to holler back at him on the phone. We're going to end this right here. Like I said, appreciate the comments. If you want to subscribe. Follow Mr. Truckinstuff. He gets a little more depth on different things. Not just anything to do with truck stuff, even though I know it's his label and what it goes by on his channel. There's a lot of useful information he shares. Drivers, a point I made to him, he didn't even realize. You get tired and you're able to bust up my channel, and he's got way more videos than I do. He's the one that got me started in this, and I don't know if I should like him, love him, or hate him for it. It's very entertaining. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I got tired, was going to lay down, now I'm wide awake, and I'm going to believe I'm going to knock this 286 to get back home to mama. But if you get tired, something I figured out, it works for me. I'm not saying it works for everybody else. Hit up my channel, especially hit up Truckinstuff channel. Just listen to it. Even the older videos. Every video he's got is it's going to be comical regardless. You got to kind of pay attention, but you kind of don't, because me and him both, especially if we're together and he can vouch for this, we'll have a topic, and like the shutdown band, me and him went for hours trying to post this, and days, matter of fact. Numerous times trying to post stuff about the black smoke and the trucker shutdown, and my group, as far as live ags, was trying to get that going. Man, it just seemed like everything was against us, and we got on our point, stayed on our point, but then so much stuff filled our minds, and we ran on that. But that's what makes it good. That's what makes it clean. There's, and it keeps me awake. When I get sleepy, I bust on Trucking Stuff. It's a channel right there, and if you ain't subscribed to him, I highly recommend subscribing to him. You ain't got to like me or subscribe to me at all, but definitely Trucking Stuff. He's got it going on. He's got a lot of useful stuff for the government, and like I said on my last, the weather, just news in general. And like I said, it ain't necessarily got to do with trucking. Now he'll get on his trucking kick, but you can learn so much, and a lot of his stuff is stuff he's researched or might have heard that he will research, or stuff that he's learned over the years out here. I don't know of anything that I've personally seen that wasn't truthful. But definitely, if you're tired, definitely go in there and check Trucking Stuff out.
Glad to know I'm not boring too, because I try to keep things on the upbeat. But I do a lot of research in what I do. I really do. I go in several different places on the internet, like 15 or 20, and I'm researching whether something's accurate or not, and I'm looking on there to see what's new and what just happened. And even like seconds before I go live, I'm like, what if something just popped off? And I'm like, okay, let's, type in, search and see what's going on in, maybe, just for example, lately the power's out down there, sorry here. Power's out in the country, and they don't know what to do about it and all this, and
where's that at?
Well,
is it America?
No. Maduro is the president of. Hold on a second here. 1 second. I got a little problem with my computer log I'm fighting with. Hang on 1 second. I'll be with you in 1 second.
While he's looking at that, the point I was also making, YouTube's probably the best news resource you can get nowadays, because it's 100. I'm not gonna say it's 100% honest, depending on who you follow. I've got 100% faith in Trucking Stuff, and I don't think he would steer anybody wrong. But a lot of your news you look at now, even your weather, is sugar coated. I guess would be the best way to, or watered down. They don't want you to know the facts, and a lot of things on YouTube is conspiracy theories and different things like that. But if you've got somebody like Mr Truckinstuff, like I said, I highly recommend you follow. He don't really sugarcoat nothing. I've never seen nothing sugarcoated, and
it's working better now. Here's what I was saying. The previous president of Venezuela, and now a guy who was in their I'm calling it parliament. He said, okay, look, this guy is trying to take rule away from our country, and it ain't right. So he basically says, I'm going to be an interim president until we get this worked out. And that whole country now has lost power. For a long time, they've been taking the oil money in that country and spending on whatever they want to spend it on. And then when the fuel prices tanked and they didn't have all that big money coming in, their country is, has people starving and eating whatever they can in the streets, and they stand in line all day just to get a bag of flour. And it's like, yeah, you can make some tortillas with that, but that's not enough to feed your people. So it's kind of messed up. And so, that going on, I'm always constantly at the last minute, I'm like, I'll type in Venezuela and search, or I'll type in, something that I might be looking up that has to do with trucking that just happened, or the storms that just went through and then it blew that train over. I found out about that train blowing over I'd say about 45 minutes before I went live. Or I might find out about something and say, wait, I don't want to talk about that because I don't know enough about that. And I'll do that on my next live, or I'm going to research it before I even go live, and I might put it off. So that's why my live times are so far off, because I'm like, I'm going to wait till this pans out, and we'll see what happens in this situation before I even speak on it. You know what I mean? I can't get out there and stick my neck out on something like some of these people do, knee-jerk reaction videos where it's like, just recently there was some kind of a shooting that happened, and I want to say that was in, oh man, not Australia. I have to look at the country, New Zealand, and everybody had a knee-jerk reaction to it, and some people said that the video was fake and all that stuff. I didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole, simply because all they were doing was knee-jerk reaction videos, and I know nothing about that country, and I don't think it's for me to speak about. So I didn't, even though it happened.
Well, it's a respect thing, too, because of people's lost loved ones. And another thing I will say that I've never seen on your Facebook channel, and you won't find it on mine, is clickbait stuff. And I highly respect you for that, because everybody that's done it is aggravated. You'll see a picture of something about, click on here, woman gets in an argument with gangster or something, click here to see what happens next. It won't have nothing to do with it. Ours is pretty much, if it's titled something, we might get on a rampage like we have tonight, but it's all in clean fun. And we do cover the points, but we might be scattered around. But they're, like I said, I've never seen no clickbait on yours. I mean, you've had a few remarks like the world's biggest stacks on a truck and stuff like that, but I mean, that would pertain to some stacks on a truck. I mean, it wasn't like we was watching something, it was something totally different. You're not going to get that on this channel, and I don't believe Mr. Truckinstuff is going to have it on his channel.
No.
By no means, because we're not wanting to waste your time. We're not wanting to waste our time or your time. We want, if you are interested in something, you're like, hey, this has got to pertain to what I'm interested in. It might be, we've been in this one right here going on 2 hours right now, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. But, like the title says, is Kid and Trucking Stuff. It's pretty much us that's going over stuff. But if you want to learn something about brake chambers like he's got on his channel, or building a water pump, different things like that, you're going to see how to do that. You're not going to go to click how to build a homemade water pump, something you can use in trucking, and it be a guy smoking a cigarette and talking about the end of the world. It ain't going to be nothing like that. It's going to be pertaining to the point.
There was a guy who's a really, really, really famous YouTuber, and now he doesn't do it, but when he first started, he was showing pictures of bikini models and crazy stuff for the picture, and it was called clickbait, and people would click on it, and then they was even subscribing to his channel, but they would click on it, and it had nothing to do with that. And a lot of people gave him a hard time about that, and that's the kind of stuff that really, that's misleading. It's like bait and switch with a car. If somebody had a car that was one thing, and then you get there and it's a whole different car that they sell you, and that one's gone, and this one costs 5 times more. I think it's dishonest.
Very.
And so I try to stay as honest as I can with it, and I'm just trying to download my brain to the internet, so it's all by experience. It's stuff that I know and can't help but know, so it's true and it's accurate to what I've seen that works. And if I tell you pantyhose works on a belt, if you got a V-belt, you can pretty well take that to the bank. It sounds crazy, but it kind of works. And it was something that was taught to me long before my time. So, all of this is stuff that it is valid to what we call it. And, it's stuff you're just not going to learn in trucking school because they don't want you to know it. And there's companies that don't want you to know how to change airlines, much less the fuel, because they want you to stay dumb. They don't want you leaving and being an owner-operator. The more you know, the more of a danger it is that you're going to leave them.
Well, it ain't just that they've also got it in with the companies. Hey, we'll give you this kickback if you guarantee me that you'll bring this truck to a dealership. There's not just one dealership, but there's companies that own several dealerships scattered, like Rush Truck Centers. Nothing against Rush, but they own them all over the country, and they make money off getting you in there. There's certain things that I might not can fix because I don't have the tools to do it, and the tools at the time might be too expensive for me to buy. But they make their money that way, and I got respect for shops like that and the knowledge, because I still learn stuff all the time, and I do ask questions. But don't be blind, having the blinders put over your eyes, thinking my company don't want me to have tools. They don't want me working on the truck, this, that, and the other because of this or that. Void the warranty. I'm not sitting on the side of the road for nobody. You shouldn't either. It's like Truckinstuff said. If a pantyhose can fix a belt and get you from A to B, or limp you in to buy another belt and put it on yourself, it don't take a genius to figure this stuff out. But back to what I was saying as far as our channels and stuff, another thing I respect from Mr. Truckinstuff, neither one of us is going to really talk about family. And I'm new to this, and I just want to tell the people, and I'm not trying to sound conceited, I'm very happily married, got a beautiful wife. If she makes comments on here or whatnot, I like to keep everything respectful. Ladies, if you comment on here, keep it respectful. Same with the gentlemen. I don't want no pervertedness or nothing like that on here, because I am a Christian. I don't get in religion and stuff like that, or politics at all. I'm not here to offend nobody. I'm not here to judge nobody. I'm not here to condemn nobody. But I want to keep it as clean as I possibly can, because I do got a kid, a little boy, 10 years old. It's be 11 this month. Mr Truckinstuff's got family, and he can run his channel the way he wants. But it's while me and him's talking, and I have not seen anything negative. But since I am new at this, I kind of want it out there. It ain't cute to me. It ain't funny. I believe we can have a good time and joke and cut up and still be clean. I don't need no pervertedness or nothing like that on my channel. And I'm not trying to sound like a prick by any means, but like I said, I don't want no boundaries being crossed. I can joke and cut up with the best. I can take it and dish it. But as far as being disrespectful and stuff like that to people, I don't really care for that. I'd rather everybody get along. If you're going to be on here and you have a disagreement, that's fine. But I'm not big on disrespecting people. And if something I say offends you, I will apologize. You can feel free to say, hey man, you're a little out of context. I will apologize, because I'm human and I will have a bad temper, and I might have one recording live, God willing I don't, and have a truck hit me and I might go off. But I'm sure Truckinstuff feels the same way. I can't really speak for him, but this channel, mine especially, is knowledge. I want to get as much knowledge as I can from other people, like Truckinstuff. But I also want to be able to relay it, what I know and what I've learned, to other people that's involved in this. This is not a flirting website for me. Y'all can do all y'all want to flirting with each other, but as far as I go, I'm very happily married and taken. And I'm not saying that to be conceited. We just know how things can get. But
I keep my comments. I'll tell you this. You can do this on your channel too if you want to. This is handy for me. I put, for the most part, I mean, on a couple of them I leave them wide open, but for the most part I put my channel, my comments on, we call it lockdown. It's not exactly. It's by approval only. As long as it's nothing too crazy. I even take criticism. I've even let some comment through. It's crazy, real full on crazy. But as long as it's nothing that bad and you ain't, you're not in any way bullying another person that's on there, made a comment and saying they're stupid or something like that. I try not to let that through. Sometimes I might let a comment through and be like, ooh, shouldn't have approved that. Or I might let one through and say, well, they're going to beat him up for that one, so I ain't got to worry about it. But, honestly, don't think that you're going to make a comment and it's not going to be seen in no time flat, that either somebody's going to tell you about yourself for putting it up there, or that we can't delete it. We can block you. We can have you deleted. We can put you in timeout. We can put you under the YouTube channel. We can have your channel shut down. You're not going to jack with our channel. It's just not going to happen. So don't even.
And we don't want to do that. We're not trying to sound like we want to do it. By no means. That's why I'm saying this. As far as I'm going, my main point is, I'm not going to let this channel and people's comments cause a barrier between me and my wife or me and my family. Same way Truckinstuff ain't going to let it happen to his. And we're not by no means trying to sound bullyish or rude by no means. And I don't want it to sound like I'm warning you. I'm just saying I want to have good, clean fun. I want to get along with everybody. Racism's not going to be tolerated. I don't care how you was raised, where you was raised. We're all human beings. That's a barrier I'm working on in my personal life. And the Lord is blessing me with abilities to conquer that. And that's this disrespect towards women or women towards men. Get phone numbers if y'all want to do that. Do that on y'all's own time. I'm not saying that I've ever had it. I know I haven't had it on my page. I don't know if Truckinstuff has. But this...
Oh, you should see the stuff that I've blocked. You should see the comments. I could do, people do videos, and they're like, okay, now we're going to read bad comments. Or they'll do videos and they'll say, let's go through all these comments, or they'll even address people. I had one, I put his ass in the penalty box. I had to. Look, here's the thing. We can shut that down. But you would not believe the people who have put messed up stuff on my channel, and I haven't even mentioned it. Oh, but it's there, and you know, it's one of the things where I'm not going to let it through because I don't want y'all to have to deal with it like the way I had to deal with it. But I had to deal with it, and some of them I didn't even block them. I didn't even report them. I just didn't approve the comment because I'm like, I'm not going to waste my time with it. But if it becomes out of hand, and there's one guy that he goes by his first name, and there's one name, seems to have several last names that he keeps changing, and he's on All of Us Truckers channel. And yeah, he's giving me a hard time too, but because of the way I was able to shut him down by not allowing his comments through, he don't like my channel because it doesn't get through in the first place. He has this thing where he likes to put stuff up there and it gets through, and then you have to deal with it. But because mine's by approval only, he's tried it 3 different times, and that was it. So I don't tolerate it, but I take everybody on a case-by-case basis, and I have a measured response. You know what I'm saying? So, I can pretty well put a stop to all of it, and I can make you lose your channel. And then don't think you're going to start another channel, because YouTube will know what you're trying to do and what your other channel was, and that's you. And they'll, Google runs YouTube, so keep this in mind. If you're using a Gmail address, they can make you lose your Gmail address.
Another thing I'm gonna say, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Something else. This is about trucking. Trucking stuff's about trucking, even though he covers different things. But my channel strictly is about knowledge of trucking mechanics. I mean, there might be some different. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna post videos about different things, but one thing I'm not gonna tolerate is somebody bashing on somebody else's truck. I don't care if it's Volvo, Freightliner. That does not change the driver. I've drove a Volvo. I've drove a Freightliner. I've drove a Mack. I've drove Kenworth, Peterbilt's, Marmons. If there's a truck built, I think I pretty much covered, except for like auto car. I've never drove auto car and stuff like that. But because somebody drives something, don't bash on the ride. If they've got a question, they ask me or Mr. Truckinstuff. Like I said, Truckinstuff can handle his page, but on mine, if somebody's asking me a question on any live or period, and they say I've got a so-and-so year truck and it don't fit your fancy, don't bash them. That's some of the most rude and disrespectful thing. That person might be trying the best they can to make it and might be proud. You don't know where that truck come from. It might have been their grandpa's. It might have been their great-grandpa's. It might have been their dad that they just lost.
It might be the nicest thing they've ever owned.
It could be.
Make fun of it. So the thing is, I've got countless comments on every truck, no matter how nice. You can put up there the best show truck ever, right?
Somebody's going to have something to say about it.
Yeah, and they're going to say it. And I've got countless comments. I didn't delete them. I just didn't let them through. Like I said, I could do a whole video on that. That's not what my channel's about, is doing videos on that. But I ain't lying to you. Page after page of them that unapproved, and you're not getting through. Don't be stupid and make stupid comments and think, and be stupid and think you're going to get through. It's just not going to get through. Or if you put it on somebody that's not on lockdown like that for every video, they will delete it. But at that point, once you made the comment, they'll delete it, and they may even be mad enough to report you and be mad enough to do this about it. And, so you might want to, if you ain't got nothing to say, nothing nice to say, just don't say nothing at all.
Well, I'm going to make a point, too, kind of nip all that in the butt, and I hope it does. It don't matter what truck you drive, what brand it is, what it looks like. As long as it's sturdy enough to get from A to B, there's no truck that makes more than any other truck, meaning you can put that truck to work. Now, obviously, you can't pull 4-axle stuff like that, but as far as common freight, you can make the same amount of money with a show truck as you can with an old, beat-up, wore-out, whatever brand truck it is. And the reason I'm not saying a brand or using that because I'm not trying to offend nobody. That's not my goal. But my point is, because you have a big fancy ride versus something needs a paint job, that truck makes the same dollar bill as that fancy ride does. Like I said, you don't know the history of that vehicle. It could have belonged to his grandpa, his daddy, somebody he just lost that was dear to him, and he takes pride in his ride. That's what I keep stressing. Take pride in what you got, because you might not have it one day.
My old joke has been, I don't care if you've got a fifth wheel mounted on a bicycle. If you could pull that trailer and it's paying you by the mile, knock yourself out. I'm not going to say anything about it. Matter of fact, if you're riding a bicycle and it's just pedal powered, you're making more money than I am, because you're not paying for the diesel fuel.
And you stay in shape.
Yeah, in better shape. You had some big old calves. You'd be a big dude. Yep.
But
hey, listen, I got to run, brother.
Yeah, that's what I was going to close. And guys and gals, please go see Truckinstuff if you ain't seen him yet. I think the majority of you have. If you're new to this and you like it, subscribe, like. If you don't, no hard feelings. And hope the knowledge we shared and just some of the stories might help you out a little bit. But definitely go check out Truckinstuff. He'll tell you how to spell it and everything. Awesome guy. He's the one I've been talking to on here. If you just joined, a lot of things he discussed on subjects, I guess you would say, that don't necessarily pertain to trucking. A lot of things he does with trucking that, like I said on my last video that we discussed, can carry over to everyday vehicles. Truckinstuff, you don't give them your information for ones that's looking that might not be subscribed to you or whatever. Tell them how to find you, brother.
Yeah, you just go on YouTube and type in Truckinstuff with no spaces in there. Don't let it put spaces in there, and don't put no G in there. There's no G in trucking, people. It's trucking, not trucking. Nobody has ever been trucking. So that's what kills me, too. There's all these websites out there, trucking this and trucking that. And I even told a friend of mine about it. He's like, you know what, man, I'm going to change my name, because for real, on there, I did. And there, you're right. It's trucking. There's no G in truck. Somebody told me one time, because I got a system in my truck, I'm the only G in trucking. I laughed, but the truth is, because there's no G in trucking. So, yeah, there's just not a G. Truckinstuff. Trucking stuff with no space. One big long word. And it'll get you there. And there's a picture of a messed up GPS, because, listen, people, GPS has failed. That's the whole point in that picture, is to teach you even more, is keep a map book, for God's sake. We got a hole in the sun, whether you believe it or not. It's a coronal hole. Look it up. I've done videos on it. And the lady that actually, she teaches online about space stuff. She's taught with NASA, all kinds of stuff. She's been on television shows. She's watching it and tells you about it. I put a link up in one of my videos. And there's a hole in the sun. And there's also, the Russians are making satellites that kill our satellites. There's all kinds of reasons that our GPS, its days could easily be numbered. It could be gone tomorrow. That coronal hole that's shooting stuff out, it's just clocked, and it's like Russian roulette at this point about when it's going to hit them. And so basically, if you don't keep a map book in your truck, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's $9.99 for a trucker's atlas. Don't get a car map. Get a trucker's atlas. Know about the low bridges in your section, in the front of where you're going. And if you want something, just for an example, Emerson, New Jersey, EMERSON, New Jersey. There's no legal way in there. There's a low bridge in the sector. Once you figure that out, you'll call State Patrol. They'll tell you, you can come in from the south side. I think it's 11 Highway, and they allow it, but technically it's not even a truck route because of the low bridge. So I'm just telling you, get a map book and plan your trips with a map book and a notepad, and write down where you're going to fuel and all that ahead of time. Because when the GPS goes out, or if it's off, you can use another device as a GPS other than use at least two, but when it's off, have the road name you're looking for written down. And if it's nighttime, have a good flashlight that you can shine on it so you'll see it. Because you pass it, it might be 5 miles before you got to turn around. There's so much, man, I could go into this for years, but for real, get a map book, because your GPS, it might not be there tomorrow. That's all I got, dude.
Well, I appreciate it, brother. Like I said, we've been at it about 2 hours, 15 minutes. Covered a lot of ground there.
We got 20 years to go.
You're right. But like I said, y'all check him out. He's a good dude, very honest. I highly recommend him. I talk to him, I guess, about on a daily basis. It seems like I've talked to you about every day since we met. Except for weekends, we got respect for each other on home time and different things like that. But unless we're doing something about the shutdown, then that's no holds bar. But definitely check him out. I'm going to let him go, and stay safe out there, brother. Guys and gals that's watching or going to watch, y'all be safe. And
I just made a comment. If you give it a second or two for anybody that might see it in there, and I'll make another comment when this is a video. I just made a comment so they can see my little channel name too.
Yeah, I just seen it pop up. Y'all click on it. Y'all know what to do. I'm new at this kind of stuff. Y'all know what to do to find him. I promise you. If you're having a bad day, anything like that, he's got a really clean channel. I mean, there might be a few bad words in there, but other than that, I mean, it's a really clean channel. Bad words are just words. I promise you, he can make you laugh. Truck drivers, y'all get sleepy, check him out. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be watching. I'm getting a little tired now, but I gotta run. So I'll be having some trucking stuff going on while I'm going down the highway, even though I was just did a little time with him. But I don't want to hold you up no more, brother. Holler at me if you need to talk to somebody. I've got, like I said, 286 more miles to go. I'm gonna turn and burn. I don't know if you've got to shut down or if you're still getting to run.
Nope, I'm in the middle of a drop and hook, and I'll be leaving out from here and going straight to Wisconsin. So I'll call you in about 30 minutes.
You should cross my path. I'm in Kentucky, so
Okay.
It depends on if you get to Crashville before I do. But yeah, be safe out there, buddy. Just holler at me when you get ready.
Yep, I'm out. Peace.
See you, buddy. Like I said, guys and gals, y'all look for him. He's a super good dude. I don't mean to waste any more of your time. Hope y'all have a blessed day. A lot of fortune comes your way, and just remember, you're having a bad day. It could be worse. You're breathing, and hopefully your truck's getting fixed if that's what caused it, or you're getting unloaded if that's what's causing it. They holding you up. Remember, it could be worse. Have a blessed day. Keep it safe, guys. Thank you. Bye.